Save me a piece of that corn.
Hi, we're in Glen Elder at the Riverside Market, and we were picking up some custom-made tumblers for a wedding, and we discovered that Chandra here has a glorious shop where she creates jewelry and all sorts of things. And so I just wanted to ask her to tell us a little bit about herself and how she got started, and also your processes in making these beautiful pieces of jewelry.
Okay, well, my name is Chandra. I was a full-time interior painter for years, and I loved design, but got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore physically. So my husband's like, let's just open your shop, and just to go from my passion, my purpose of my shop. I was never able to sell anything if it didn't have a purpose behind it. You know, I couldn't just sell jewelry. But when I was 5 months pregnant with Trinity, over 20 years ago, my brother Travis was killed in a car wreck. And to keep from crying for 20-some years, I would pick up feathers. And part of what you see when you come in, there's feathers like everywhere, and it's in my design of the jewelry. I'm a repurposer. I take things that, whatever it is you have in front of you, I look at it, and the gift of design is what I do. But I can show you what I see, and to take something that people see no value in, and I'll show you value. But when my brother passed away, I wanted to be able to share his story and to be able to talk about it. And part of my healing was sharing the feather stories with others. And then when people would come in, they would say, well, I see cardinals or I see dragonflies. And I always say, if you go through a checkout line, people will say, oh, I love your glasses, or I love your necklace. And it gave me the opportunity to talk about my brother. Like normally I have a feather necklace on, and saying their name is important when you lose a loved one. That's part of the healing, and teaching people what worked for me to get through it, and giving people the tools. So this bracelet that you bought, it has a brooch on it, and one of my role models were my grandparents. Like they were married for 60 plus years. And so if grandparents were important to you, people will bring me their own heirloom stuff. Like say if this brooch was your grandma's, I can put it into wearable pieces of art. So that's on silverware, and it's soldered with a pickle olive fork. And then I make it to where it's a custom bracelet like that.
It's a magnet.
So, yeah, it's a magnet. So you have something now that you can talk about your grandma, you know, because it was important. And the story with the feathers, there's a young man here in town that is in my son's class who lost his mom to breast cancer that later went to brain cancer. And he spent 2 hours in here visiting with me. And a lot of what I do is just, I don't care if you buy anything or not. You know, it's more about, I want to help you get unstuck. And he's like, how do you get over your mom dying? He's like, the kids at school, they said, you should just get over it. And he's like, how do you do that? And I'm thinking, my son don't even talk. He's an introvert. And I've got this young man in here just pouring his heart out, you know. And I'm like, well, I see feathers. And I said, that's how I kept from crying, you know. And that boy, Sawyer, he left here, and he stopped one day at my house, which I live across the street. He says, have you been finding what I've been leaving you? And I'm like, no. He says, I started finding feathers, and I stick them in the wreath on your front door. And then he walked by another day, and he had them in his baseball hat. And he had stuck a white feather in and a black feather. And he says, I find them now when I'm mowing my grandma's yard, and I'll say, hey, Mom. Hey, Mom. You know, so guardian angels, that's what I look at feathers as. Like, he will cover you with his feathers. And my faith is what's gotten me through it. And sharing my story with other people, and whatever it is, giving you the tools so you can go out and say, I can do this today. And it may not be the same thing for years. Like, it may be like, this is what you need this week. It may be for months. But come back in, and it's like a soul checkup. Just seeing where you're at in life and helping people get unstuck. And that's really what my shop is. It's a type of ministry, but for me it's a blessing, and for them it's a blessing, and just helping people keep moving forward.